Good evening, everyone. Great to have your company on the NTFA Footy Show with thanks, of course, to DLM Machinery. And we've got another big show. Guests coming up tonight as well, our Club in Focus, where tonight we feature Old Scotch. And we've got a very talented footballer from Deloraine joining us for our women's segment with Abby and myself. And plenty to bring you up to speed with what's happening in football around Tasmania. But as we do every week, with thanks to Little Rivers Brewing Company and Crafty Cuts, it's time for our photo of the week, and this is an absolute cracker. Just study this footage a little bit, and here it is on your screen, and you can see the kick here. Now, this is Jack Berry. Whether he hit the umpire in the head or not, or the umpire's actually trying to take a mark, I'm not entirely sure, but it is a beautifully captured moment out at Morven Park on the weekend. Evandale there in their match with St Pat's. So that is our photo of the week. We'll take home a 4-pack from our friends at Little Rivers Brewing Company. So as we say every week, if you've got a great photo, please send it in to us. And who knows, it might be up on our screens next week here on the Footy Show. So please send that in to us. All right, time to get stuck into men's footy action. And let's have a look at the Premier Division ladder because we've only got a few rounds left to go. And we take a look at the state of play as it is right at this moment. And we can see the Hillwood are on top of the table still. They had dropped a couple of games in a row. So they are back on top at the moment. Longford, now, as you can see, they are up into second spot. They beat an inaccurate Rochalee by 6 points. So that's been quite costly to Rochalee because they've dropped from second down to fourth because one of the big improvers is South Launceston. 7 straight wins on the trot. They are up to third spot on the table now. Rochalee, as I said, dropped down to fourth. A couple of very, very tight games with Deloraine keeping their finals chances alive. They had a 2-point win over Scottsdale. So they're a game out of the 5. As you can see, Bridgenorth also there on in sixth spot at the moment. So let's have a look at what's coming up in games this weekend. Round 15 of the men's Premier Division, and there are the games on your screen all this Saturday afternoon. Rochalee are taking on Scottsdale up at Rochalee. Very important game, that one, for the Tigers to try and stay in that top 4 and try and get out of that elimination final battle. So top 3 is where you would ideally want to finish up. This is a big game for Bridgenorth down at Parrot Park on Saturday afternoon. They should win from Georgetown, but they still need to do it on the park. So that is a big game, as is this one. Deloraine and Bracknell, 4th and 6th. They're separated by 1 game. So a vital game for both teams. And the last game, well, what a beauty this will be. The match of the day up at Youngtown. South Launceston, as we said, they've won 7 straight. They play Longford, the reigning premiers, and that game is at 2:30. And Hillwood have got the bye this weekend. So what a cracking round 15 we've got coming up in the Premier Division. Let's turn our attention to Division 1 and check out the ladder there. And as you can see, Old Scotch, well, they are well and truly in front there on top of the ladder, a couple of games clear of St Pat's, and they are a further couple of games in front of Lilydale. Top 5 beginning to take a bit of shape now. Perth join Lilydale on 9 wins, and Old Launcestonians are now 2 games plus percentage clear of Evandale and East Coast after their big win over UTAS last weekend. And Bridport, they've won their 4th match of the season, a massive 20-goal win over East Coast, and they've certainly shown a lot of improvement in their first year back in the NTFA. As you can see, they're in 8th position, 4 wins for the season. So that's the state of play in Division 1. The matches coming up this weekend in Division 1 action. Full round, it is round 15. East Coast are taking on Perth down at St Helens. All the games are a Saturday at 2 o'clock. Bridport are at home to Lilydale. Important game, that one, for the Demons in particular with the finals race. The Meander Valley Suns, they're at home to Old Launcestonians at Westbury. Old Scotch take on Evandale at the NTCA ground, and University of Tasmania are at home to the reigning premiers St Pat's on Saturday. So that is round 15 action of Division 1. So let's have a look at the Bogues MVP and the current standings and how that is shaping up. The votes from round 14, they're all in for the Premier Division. And there you can see Isaac Thompson from Hillwood BOG against Bridgenorth picked up the maximum 6 votes. We know he's polling very well in the season as well, so he'd be right up there on the leaderboard. This is a great story. Michael Larby, best on ground in the grand final last year for Longford. Back playing his first senior game for Longford since that horrific arm injury that he suffered in round 3 against Bracknell. We came back through the reserves a couple of weeks ago and kicked 9 goals. He polled 6 votes in that in their win over Rochalee. Of course, a replay of last year's grand final. So that's a big in for Longford, and they're starting to gain some momentum up to second spot on the ladder. In Division 1, Bogues MVP, votes also for that with round 14. You don't see this every day. 6 votes in all the Division 1 matches on the weekend. Rowan Fitch from Old Launcestonians, Perth's Ben Elmer. Well, Ben kicked a massive 11 goals in their win over the Meander Valley Suns on the weekend. Even better performance from Matthew Taylor from Bridport. He booted 13 against the East Coast Swans, and Callum Harrison from St Pat's, all polling 6 votes. Of course, they're all judged by the coaches. So you'll see no leaderboards. We'll keep you in suspense because Thursday, the 24th of August, we will announce all our Bogues MVP winners. So that's at the end of the home and away season. They'll be here in the studio, joined by a representative from Bogues. So we look forward to that on the 24th of August, but more details to come on that still. So that is it for men's footy. It's our Club in Focus. Next, stay with us.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Welcome back to the NTFA Footy Show. Great to have your company on this Thursday night. It is, of course, time for our Club in Focus with thanks to Harrison Agents. And this week, well, it's a very proud club that are flying at the moment in Men's Division 1 on top of the table, and their women's team going extremely well also in the Premier Division. And a man who's seen a lot at Old Scotch, more than 45 years. He doesn't look a day older than 45. Greg Breward, good to see you again, mate. How are you?
Fantastic, thanks, Rick. How are you?
Going well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
45 years, and as I said, you look 45, mate. You're still the runner for the footy club. So how do you keep yourself so fit?
Oh, well, it's fairly easy to be involved with such a good club, and the seniors team I've been running for the last probably 5 or 6 years. They've embraced me as much as I've embraced them, so it's pretty easy to motivate yourself to run.
How do you go with the bad messages that you got to deliver out to players? Do you cop a spray sometimes from the boys out on the field?
You've got to filter some of them, and you always use the sandwich. You use the good part, the bad part, and end with a good part as well.
Okay, so you try and leave the bad part late so that you can just bolt back off the ground, do you, before you cop a spray at the other end?
Exactly how it works.
Fantastic. Where'd your involvement with the club come from, and when did you start?
Well, I went to it was Scotch College, which turned into Scotch Oakburn, and a group of us used to go down and watch the old boys play in the amateurs, and it was just a natural progression. When I left school, I had a year at East Launceston under 19s, and then just went down and started to play with Scotch, and it started there and hasn't finished, and hopefully I've got a few more years left.
Fantastic, and it's a terrific club, and that pathway through East Launceston Junior, Scotch Oakburn College it's so important, and we're really starting to see. I guess the club's had so much success, but there just seems to be such a good pathway through NTFA, but obviously through the juniors as well. I mean, the numbers are terrific, aren't they?
Oh, they are, and that's only been recent with the advent of the girls and the under-18s, and as you said, providing that pathway. But I've also been involved with the club where we've been really struggling for numbers. So it was quite a brave move to take on the under-18s and the girls, given the situation we're in. But it's been one of the best. It's been the best thing that's happened to the club since I've been down there.
Big weekend coming up this weekend. We're obviously getting close to finals, but it's your Supporters Day, and this year the McGrath Breast Cancer Foundation are going to be the beneficiary, and there are the details there. It's a great organisation. You're going to have a marquee at the event, and as we could see that this Saturday from 12 o'clock, only $50 per person there at the NTCA. So raising money for the McGrath Foundation, and I know it's something very close to the heart of your captain, Jonty Swallow, who's had a lot to do with it this year. Got a family friend that's going through breast cancer at the moment. But tell us the significance of this day.
Oh, look, it's significant. It's always a good day, the Supporters' Day down at the Footy Club. The club likes to acknowledge the terrific support that we get. Lots of parents, lots of family involved, which is terrific. Like you said, there's a marquee that's set up, which is dedicated to the Supporters' Day. And going back to Jonty is passionate about the football club and passionate about anything he gets involved in. And this just flows over. He's a really hard-working person. He's done some fantastic fundraising for the McGrath Foundation, which is a testimony to Jonty.
Indeed, he's obviously the captain of the club as well. I know we've got a pic of him here in action at the NTCA ground, but his leadership is amazing. And I guess this season as well, there's that extra motivation playing in the grand final, but St Pat's getting the premiership last year and at the moment on top of the ladder and flying, but we know things can change pretty quickly. But how is Old Scotch feeling at this stage of the season with a few rounds left?
Oh, look, they're comfortable at the moment, but at the moment we're only top of the ladder in 2023. St Pat's are still the reigning premiers. So if you have a goal to aim for, you don't want to be runners-up. You want to be the premiers. So St Pat's are still the benchmark, and until somebody can beat them on the last day, they're the reigning premiers.
They are, well put. Look, so many great people down at Old Scotch, but one I just want to get your views on. Jeff Price, or Sauce as he's well known. I mean, I think you were telling me before, he's only missed one game in about 50 years. That is quite extraordinary. There he is there on the right. He loves the club so much. And what's so special about Sauce, Greg?
I had to put together some words for a presentation for Jeff sometime into the future. It's really hard to imagine the club without him because he's been there for over 50 years. But the club's identity has been forged by Jeff's passion and commitment to the club. So the values and behaviours that are ingrained in our club at the moment all stem, well, from what I can see, all stem from Jeff's involvement. He's just an ornament down at the football club. He's almost reverential in his in the position that he holds down there. Yeah. He's a fabulous person.
He's a wonderful man, and paint the picture, an inaugural living legend of the NTFA Hall of Fame, and also received the very coveted Clary Boone Medal for Service Award as well to the NTFA. So it shows not only to the club, but how much the NTFA have valued his contribution to football.
And that's exactly right. I mean, Jeff is as parochial as anybody that's attached to a football club. But if you scratch underneath the surface, he's also got a really keen mind on football in general, and he sees no value in sides really struggling either. And Scotch have struggled, but we've maintained what we stand for, and therefore you fluctuate. But he just doesn't see. He'd like everybody to succeed. He'd just like Scotch to succeed more than anybody else.
Hey, and that's fair enough. That's what you need. That's what you need. Love it. Well, it is going to be a big day coming up this Saturday. Of course, if anyone wants any information on what's happening and part of the Supporters' Day, jump on the Old Scotch Collegians Facebook page. There's the details on your screen again. Great value. It's going to be an awesome afternoon and some great action. The women, Old Scotch, are taking on Scottsdale. That's a big game. Scottsdale have really improved over the last month or so. Alex Hall has come back into that side. So that's at 10:25, and then we got the men's reserves against Evandale at 12 and the seniors at 2. So it should be a great afternoon.
The girls played Scottsdale about a month ago up at Scottsdale. It was a really competitive game. And similarly, the boys played Evandale about 6 weeks ago, and they were really competitive as well. So it'll be a really good day. And one thing to mention is that both the The women's and the senior men will be playing in the pink. So
Brilliant.
there's to commemorate McGrath Foundation Day.
Fantastic. So well done to Jonty, of course, and Old Scotch Collegians. Greg, great to catch up with you, and run well on Saturday.
I intend to. I'll be in pink.
Very good. That's Greg Breward from Old Scotch Collegians Footy Club joining us for our Club in Focus this week. Break, and then we'll be back with women's football.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Great to have your company on the NTFA Footy Show. And now, with thanks to Cleanaway, it is time for our weekly Women in Football segment. Well, today, she's still a relatively fresh face in football, but what a start she's had to her career with the Deloraine Football Club. They're absolutely flying as well. And the other thing we'll find out a bit about very shortly is that every year she's played in the NTFAW, she's been in the rep team as well. So joining Abby and myself today, we have got Kiana Lehman from the Deloraine Footy Club. Welcome.
Thanks so much.
Now, I know you're a very good singer as well, but we promise we won't make you sing today. But
Thanks.
Abby.
Over to you. So I really want to chat about, you're in your third year. How have you picked it up so well, and what attracted you to start playing football?
Well, I played soccer for about 10 years, and obviously the last several years footy's picked up a lot around all of Tassie, I feel like, and the Deloraine team started in 2021, and it was within walking distance of my house at the time. I thought, why not come down to pre-season and never look back.
So I'm assuming that drew you to Deloraine, obviously living so close to the club. So how has that been for you joining the Kangaroos?
Oh, incredible. My brother's played for the Kangaroos for quite a few years, so it's nice being able to be part of that club in that way, and it's been an incredible 3 years.
That's brilliant. We've got a special moment coming up in a second. Your sister Taylor, she's a little bit older than you. Now, you versed each other a few years back. How was this moment for you playing against your older sister?
Yeah, pretty bizarre because, there
There it is. Love that.
Great picture. It was pretty bizarre, honestly. And our team, the Deloraine team, obviously had a lot more development to come at the time. So I think she probably enjoyed that fact a bit. But it was good playing with her because I have played basketball with her a little bit, but definitely different experience playing against her.
Yeah.
Some good pictures captured by mum.
Yeah, I was going to mention your mum captured that moment. So in a few years' time down the track, you'll look back at that moment as very special.
I think so, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I also want to chat about your rep series. So in your first year, you won Best on Ground for the under-20s. And then this year you stepped up and you've played for the first time in the senior women's, and we got the win. Tell us about that moment.
That was absolutely incredible. Yeah, I've played 3 years in the rep now, which has been amazing, and the Best on Ground award was very surprising to me at the time. I didn't even think I heard my name, and I had to ask a few teammates around me. I was like, oh, did they say my name? So that was, that was a really cool moment, but I think honestly, this year, getting that first win with the girls felt even more incredible. It was just so great being part of such an incredible team.
It's a great photo, that one too. Look at the smile on your face. Beautiful,
Shock.
Wonderful day.
Nice gangly as well.
Indeed. Kiana, you guys, the club's flying. You're unbeaten in your last 6 matches. It included a draw with Meander Valley, who haven't dropped a game all year. In the community, I guess, probably seen as the most improved side in women's football, full stop. What do you put the improvement down to?
Honestly, the commitment from every single player. We've always got more and more players on the track at training nights. Our coach is incredible, Brad Powell. He's done so well with the team over the last 3 years. I hope he's sticking around. But yeah, the development from year 1 to now is just incredible to watch. And I'm so thankful that I get to be a part of it. I definitely think it's up to the girls being so committed.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And this week you got the bye, I think, this
Yes.
week, and get to enjoy the week off.
I'm
so.
really sad about
She
it.
did say she was very sad, so
Yeah.
that's a very good attitude.
Momentum's a great thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Too. So
I feel like as soon as the final siren goes after every game, I just wish there was a game straight after.
Oh,
I
I
just
love
yeah.
well, no
Love
doubt
that.
there's probably a bit of extra gigs on the weekend, is there, music-wise for you?
Bit of work.
Oh,
So you've got a bit to
singing.
do on
Yeah.
the weekend.
Keep
She'll
me
be busy.
Mm.
You will be. Enjoy the weekend off. Thank you for coming on. It's been
Thanks so much for having
great
me.
to follow your journey on with the Kangaroos, and let's hope it continues deep into the finals this year. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Right, that is Kiana Lehman joining us from the Deloraine Football Club, and it's time now to get stuck into the matches. Abby, we might have a look at the ladder firstly in the
Fantastic.
Women's Premier Division, because it is really starting to get down to the business end of the season, isn't it? I mean, we look at the table there, and we've obviously still got Bridgenorth sitting on top of the ladder, and it's going to be a big week. We've got, the first draw of the season as well with Old Scotch and South. That was a thrilling game last
Yes.
last Friday night, I think that was, down at the NTCA.
Absolutely. I managed to get down there,
Yep.
and it was really a battle of the tolls. Chelsea from Scotch and Jaslyn Freestone, they really put on a show, but it was really contested and a hard ball to win.
Yep, indeed. And look, as well, we've got 2 points out of the 4. Scottsdale, they're still in the hunt.
They are.
Yeah, and a big game coming up for them against Old Scotch this Saturday down at the NTCA ground. That's going to be a
It'll be a
crucial
thrilling
match for them as well. So we might have a look at the games coming up, Abby, because
Yep.
it's not many rounds left to go until the finals, and we
No.
can see the schedule of matches coming up. What takes your eye there?
I'm looking forward to Scotch versus Scottsdale, 2 powerhouses at the moment, and they're in the mix at top spot. They're obviously, well, we don't know yet, assuming they could make finals, Scottsdale. So that's going to be a really big match for me.
It will. The other matches, Launceston are taking on Bridgenorth. That is down at Windsor Park at 10:25 on Saturday. And then your mob, Abby, heading up to Youngtown Oval to take on South Launceston. Of course, they're
We
back
are.
in the Premier Division this year, sitting
Yep.
in 4th. So it's a really important game for them, but also for you guys to try and
Yes.
maintain that top 2.
Absolutely. They're doing well.
They
are doing very well. Special day for us, our vice captain's 50th and Daisy Blundstone's 100th game at only
There you
18.
It's remarkable, isn't
Isn't it? It's fantastic.
Fantastic effort. Well, good luck to those 2 on the weekend. Let's have a look at Division 1 now with the state of play in the women's, and this is getting, well, down to the business
Ooh.
end as well. As you can see, it's getting tight.
It is.
Meander Valley still leading the way on top of the ladder, but the
Undefeated.
top 4 now pretty settled. There's 3 rounds remaining, and given Georgetown's percentage, you really can't see that top 4 changing. So Meander, Deloraine, Hillwood and Georgetown there in those positions at the moment. If we have a look at the games coming up this weekend, there's just the couple, and the East Coast Swans, they Evandale got the big trip down to St Helens.
Wow.
That'd be a good road trip, wouldn't it?
Going to the beach side.
Absolutely. And Meander Valley, Georgetown, fly under the radar a little bit, and
They
they're
do.
going okay.
They are. They
So
are.
they'll definitely need to be on their game. Will Meander on Saturday out at Westbury.
Look forward to the results.
Yep, be a great day, a great weekend coming up. All right, let's have a look at the Bogues MVP Awards now, and we might check out the votes there for round 11 in the Women's Premier Division. And, we have a look at the Scottsdale OL's game, which obviously you take a vested interest in, Abby.
I'm not surprised to see
Yep.
Chelsea Wine Allen at the top there getting the 5 and Jaslyn Freestone getting the 3 because they were phenomenal for me.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done to them. And the leaderboard, you can see we haven't got it because we're going to keep everyone in suspense for the next few weeks so that our coaches, including you, Abby, don't
Yes.
see how the leaderboard
I've
is
got no
going.
idea.
So, no.
I've got no idea.
So we will have the votes every week, and then coming up after the end of the home and away season, we will be having all the award winners, our MVPs, get to take a great cash prize from Bogues, and they'll be here to present it on the night. So
Exciting
something
times.
to really look forward to. won't it, as well?
Absolutely.
All right, we will just have a quick look now at the Division 1 MVP. 3 games there last week, and Charlotte Howe, she had a great day getting the 3 votes there as well. And I tell you what, Letitia Hancock, she had a terrific game for the
Clear
Saints
6.
over East Coast as well, getting 6 votes. And I'll tell you, someone who's polling very, very well for Deloraine in Hannah Mitchell Grimer. She's having a terrific season, and she got 6 votes as well there, as you can see in that victory. Good win over Hillwood last week.
Very tall, so good on her.
Yep, absolutely. Abby, I think that's it for Women's Footy this week.
Done
Good to see you again.
Lovely.
Thanks for being with us.
Love being here.
Great to have Kiana on the show as well.
Absolutely.
So, all right, time for a quick break. Don't go anywhere though. Plenty to go through with football around Tasmania.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Welcome back to the NTFA Footy Show, and now thanks to Crafty Cuts, time to bring you up to speed with some events that are coming up, and Deloraine is where we're going to kick it off this week. The 1973 Premiership Reunion is happening Saturday afternoon. There are the details on your screen. It's a 50-year get-together at the Deloraine Hotel. How good will that be? The magnificent Deloraine Hotel. Guests are then going to, after lunch, head to the ground to watch the big and very important Premier Division clash we previewed earlier against Bracknell. And the 1973 Premiership team, coached by Bob Hickman. We got a team photo from that 50 years ago, and it's going to be a great day on Saturday as they celebrate this. Now, you can have a look down the bottom. There's a couple of mascots there. One of them is Anthony Loon, who many of you would know from around Launceston. That little boy there in that picture went on to actually go to Carlton and played in the 1990 VFL Reserves Premiership team, did Looney, and that is your 73 Premiership team. That was part of the Esk Football Association back then as well, so that should be a great day. Big congratulations to this man from the Bridgenorth Football Club, Logan Reynolds. Well, he's going to play his 300th NTFA game this weekend against Georgetown. He played 58 games with Bracknell, and this will be his 242nd. There he is in the pictures there. Now, something he probably doesn't want to be remembered for, but it probably has to be mentioned. He's played in 6 senior grand finals in 7 years and unfortunately lost all of them. Will 2023 be a bit different? They're certainly in the hunt for finals action, so we hope so for Bridgenorth. We hope so for Logan, that he has a fantastic day, but what a milestone that is, 300 games. A reminder also, they've actually got a past players and officials and supporters luncheon happening down at the club as well. There are the details on the screen. So it is down at the Bridgenorth Football Club this Saturday afternoon. So please check out the Facebook page as well. Details there on RSVPs, but that is from 12:30 onwards on Saturday, past players, officials and supporters luncheon down at Parrot Park. One for the diaries the following week, the 5th of August, the University of Tasmania Football Club having their annual Pink Day. Always a great day out there at the Newnham campus where they play, raising money, and there'll be raffles and auctions. The team will be wearing pink Guernseys as well. So please, if you can get along to that, they are playing Old Scotch at home. So that is Saturday, the 5th of August. Please, if you can get along, support it and check out their Facebook page as well. Now, just wanted to mention this in closing. The Cooey Football Club, they are a legendary football club with tremendous history. Well done to them, because they were inducted into the AFL Tasmania Hall of Fame as a great club last week. These names will ring true with many, many people. Some absolute Tasmania football legends: John Bonney, John Greening, Graham Shepherd, Stephen Beaumont, Tom Lee, Doug Baird kicked 4 goals in their state premiers win over Sandy Bay as well. They were runners-up in 73 to Scottsdale, that famous game, Scottsdale and Cooey at West Park in 1973. So wonderful to see the Cooey Football Club inducted into the AFL Tasmania Hall of Fame. All right, well, that brings us to the close of another show for the NTFA Footy Show. Great to have your company. Please get in touch with us, send us through your photos, and we look forward to catching you next week here on the NTFA Footy Show.